Hey, it's John Nemo. Welcome back to another episode of Nemo Radio. I know it's been a minute. I'm so glad to be back with a new episode for you. And I wanted to talk today about LinkedIn strategy. I just got off a call with someone who's looking at using our services, our LinkedIn lead generation services. And this gentleman had a great line. He said, I just feel like when I log into LinkedIn right now, it's information overload. There's literally so many different things you can do on this platform. I just want leads. How do I get leads? And, he was talking about all the different things he's trying. So he's doing status updates and LinkedIn polls and LinkedIn articles and a LinkedIn newsletter and videos and all these different things. And, one of the really fascinating pieces of this is understanding what really drives lead generation on LinkedIn. And so before I get into that, I want to just, examine one area that I see so many people get hung up on with LinkedIn, where they really just try and they get so frustrated and so fed up and so kind of flummoxed by this piece of LinkedIn and the puzzle that it provides that they're really just, struggling and kind of throw their hands up and quit. And that is status updates and the LinkedIn newsfeed. So many people are trying to get their content noticed on LinkedIn by publishing regularly in the newsfeed. And there was a great example that made me think of this, of how hard it is to get noticed and go viral. This guy's name is Richard Vanderblom. He's a good guy to follow on LinkedIn for social selling and things. And he nerds out on the LinkedIn status updates and on the algorithm that, how the newsfeed works and how your posts get shared. And so before I get into what he talked about, one thing to understand with LinkedIn's algorithm, as far as the news feed, which is, of course, the mainstream on LinkedIn where you see people's status updates and, photos and videos and whatever, most people are mistaken in how they think it works. So, for example, if you have, let's say, 10,000 connections on LinkedIn, what used to be the case, or what people, still believe is true, is, oh, well, I have 10,000 LinkedIn connections. If I hit publish and, put a status update out there, all 10,000 will see it on their news feed or their wall or whatever terminology you want to use. That's actually not the case. LinkedIn will only show it to a tiny little percentage of your first level connections. It might be 10 out of the 1,000 people. It might be 100 out of the 1,000 people. It might be 62 out of the 1,000 people. And then based on how your post performs and all these different indicators, LinkedIn may or may not show it to more people. And that's the maddening part about it, is it's not like if you, break your neck to get, 10,000 new LinkedIn connections or 20,000 LinkedIn followers, right? Because people can also follow you on LinkedIn. It doesn't mean they're going to see all your status updates. And so that can be really disheartening and deflating for you if your whole strategy is built on, I want to get attention on LinkedIn by publishing content. And there's so many gurus right now that are still just, get on LinkedIn, the reach is insane, you can go viral, organic, and it's like, well, try it. It's not as easy as you think. And so just to get back to Richard Vanderblom, and he's teasing a report that's coming out in a few weeks. He and his team study the LinkedIn algorithm. And there's other people that do this too. You can follow on LinkedIn. But it was just a good illustration to me of how hard it is to kind of crack that code. Remember, LinkedIn has over 1 billion members. They're owned by Microsoft. So you've got the biggest nerds in the world playing around inside here. And they have so many different things and so many pieces of content and so many people publishing. How do they determine, who gets to see your content, who doesn't, et cetera? And so he was teasing out, like, for the 2024, like, hey, here's the latest with the algorithm. And he talks about there's 9 different factors. Oh, great. Well, that's easy. I'll just cover 9 things. And it was interesting because he gets into the report, the teaser part of it too, about what really, he's finding moves the needle or doesn't move the needle. And so just to get into the LinkedIn weeds here a little bit, a lot of people are under the belief that, oh, okay, if I publish a status update on LinkedIn, the first thing I need to do is get a bunch of people to like and comment and share it, right? And he said, actually, the data begs to differ. Even if you get a bunch of likes and comments and reposts right away, it only really, adds 20% to your reach. Like, it doesn't like skyrocket it, because there are like whole LinkedIn pods and LinkedIn groups where people like we'll say, okay, everyone, I published my post, and 100 people will go over and like it and share it, just auto spam, mash buttons. He's saying it doesn't really move the needle. He's talking about actually there's these 9 different factors. So how big is your network and how active is your network? Let's get into the nerdy area of your followers and the metrics and how engaged your followers are on their LinkedIn platform, which you can't control. Consistency in posting all these consistent days and times. Okay. Your topics and trends. Oh, you've got to find hot topics and hot trends. That impacts it. Is also your feed activity. How busy is the LinkedIn feed at any given moment? How much competition is there for fresh content being posted? Oh, great. Okay. Intrinsic quality, quality really matters. Okay. Well, how do you determine what a quality post is? Is it the, photo of your dog and a great story? Is it some incredible business lesson? Is it a quote from Steve Jobs? Again, it's a little bit subjective there. But all he's saying is, well, content quality matters. Formats and writing style matter. Okay. Social selling index. There's a ranking for each LinkedIn member called a social selling index. Now, the backstory to this is one of the founders of LinkedIn was a guy named Reid Hoffman, and he was an 80s video game nerd, and he also loved board games. He was a game guy. He loved games, Risk, arcade games, Monopoly, whatever. And so actually back in the day, the LinkedIn conference rooms were named after board games. And so one of the things Reid Hoffman put in that you still see on LinkedIn is kind of a gamification, compete and get a different ranking and things like that, like we used to do with video games, or still do, some of us. But you have a social selling index, which will say to you hey, from 0 to 100, here's your score. Try to get a higher ranking by doing these things. So that can impact who sees your post. Language can impact who sees your posts, according to this Richard Van de Blom analysis. So English posts have better reach, right? And you get 30% lower impressions if you publish non-English posts. Okay, great. Then he talks about influencer engagement. So if some big name person comments on your post, that can get 20 times more impact than a person with 100 followers, right? So all of these different things. And he talks about, viral posts are different, and, the top 5%, it really depends on these different factors. So the whole point of me, just riffing on this and explaining the 9 factors is it's so hard to predict. It's kind of like walking around trying to catch lightning in a bottle. And the good news, if you want to generate leads on LinkedIn, is there's a much simpler way. Much simpler, much better, much more effective. And that is simply this. The money is in the mailbox. On LinkedIn, the money is in the mailbox. It's in one-on-one messaging to your ideal prospects. So let me unpack this a little bit, because I get a bunch of questions whenever I mention that. People saying, well, how do I do that? How do I message my ideal connections? You can only reach out to this many a day. And so again, big picture, step back for a second. If you want a bunch of attention on LinkedIn, you want a bunch of followers and vanity metrics and likes, then by all means go crazy on content, go crazy on, publishing and trying to game the algorithm and the status updates. Knock yourself out. What I've learned the hard way, what I tell my clients is, you cannot deposit likes or comments or subscribes into your bank account, right? So you need paying clients. And the other big thing too, while I'm on this tangent, is having done LinkedIn lead generation for over a decade, both for myself and for clients across almost every imaginable vertical on LinkedIn, business to business, what really moves the needle is not status updates. It's not responding to people's comments. It's not newsletter subscribers. It's not posting in groups. It's really one-to-one messaging. So no matter what we've tried, and this is myself or for clients, no matter how much content we put out, no matter how good the content is, no matter how many newsletter articles we post, no matter how many subscribers they get, no matter how many people like or comment or subscribe, even chasing those people one-on-one does not move the needle. What really moves the needle for all our clients and myself is direct one-on-one messaging. So let me unpack that a little bit, because hopefully that comes as a relief for you. You can stop trying to figure out every nuance on LinkedIn and every feature, and you can stop thinking you have to publish 100 pieces of content every week. You just don't. What really works is pretty simple. Step 1 is you have a client-facing LinkedIn profile. And I'll put a link in the show notes if you need to, update your profile. because again, most profiles look like a resume, right? If you need an overhaul, I've got an ultimate LinkedIn profile template. Very simple, fill in the blank, get you a client-facing profile. Once you do that, step 2 is you simply use LinkedIn search. And I recommend you upgrade and get Sales Navigator because you can get a lot more data on everyone. And you sift through 1 billion people on LinkedIn and you make lists of your ideal prospects. So your exact ideal person based on job title, industry, the role they have, whatever it might be. So step 1, client-facing profile. Step 2, create lists with LinkedIn search of ideal prospects. Step 3 is very simple. Send them a one-on-one message. And you can reach out, if you're smart, to up to 200 to 300 people per day with one-on-one messages and outreach. So let me unpack that, because people always say, well, how is that possible? I thought you're limited to how many, of this you can send out and how many of that. So there's 5 different ways that you can reach out to 200 to 300 people a day, one-on-one. The first one is invites, right? You get so many invites per week from LinkedIn, and you can invite someone to connect that you find on LinkedIn search. That's one. The second one is in-mails, which are paid. If you have Sales Navigator or a paid LinkedIn account, you might get 50 a month or 80 a month or 100 a month. Those are paid one-on-one messages you can send to anyone on LinkedIn. You basically pay to force feed a message into their LinkedIn inbox. Okay, that's the second one. You have a thing called free in-mails. Everybody loves free, right? So this is what's known as an open profile message. If I set up LinkedIn and I have a premium account, I have a little button when I'm setting up LinkedIn that says, hey, do you want to have an open profile? If you click yes, you're telling LinkedIn, hey, on my personal profile, John Nemo's page, anyone can message me. We don't have to be connected. You don't have to pay to send a message. Anyone and everyone, second degree, third degree, whatever it is, you can message me. So that's called an open profile. There's a way to use LinkedIn search and LinkedIn filters and Sales Navigator to find people that have a, quote, open profile. If you find prospects with an open profile, you can send them a message for free. You don't have to be connected. You don't have to send an invite. You don't have to pay. So that's the third one, is open profile or free in-mail. The fourth one is group messages. So if I join a LinkedIn professional group, I can find all the group members I ever need. So if I say I want to, reach out to entrepreneurs in Toronto, Canada, I can look in Toronto, Canada for a group of, entrepreneurs. There's all these different LinkedIn professional groups, typically based around a profession or a software tool or a job title, like, CFOs on LinkedIn or whatever it might be. So you find the groups where your ideal prospects are hanging out, either based off geography, job title, the type of software they use, interests, passions, whatever. Once you join a LinkedIn group and get accepted, you can message every single group member for free, even if you're not connected. So that's a little backdoor workaround where, again, once I get into your LinkedIn group, if there's 1,000 members, I can go through name by name, look at each person, look at their profile, look at their title, and if they're a good prospect for me, I can message them through the group for free. So that's the fourth way you can get a bunch of one-on-one touches out. The fifth and simplest way is you can message anyone you're connected to at the first degree for free through your LinkedIn inbox, right? So that's 5 different ways. And if you add them all up, and the amount of invites and one-on-one messages and in-mails and open profile messages and group messages, you can easily get 200 to 300 a day out there. And that's what I have found works best, is sending out 200 to 300 of these kind of one-touch, one-on-one messages every single day to your ideal prospects. Think about it like this. You're basically door knocking in virtual neighborhoods. So the difference with, door-to-door sales is you go into a random neighborhood, it's a bunch of different people from a bunch of different backgrounds, maybe even different socioeconomic backgrounds. Some are married, some are divorced, some have big jobs, some have little jobs, right? Some neighborhoods, right, are more affluent, whatever. But the beautiful thing on LinkedIn is you can custom build these virtual neighborhoods. You can say, I'm literally going to go to a neighborhood of CFOs in St. Louis, Missouri, who work in the manufacturing industry. And I'm just going to go knock on 200 doors of St. Louis-based CFOs in manufacturing. And I'm going to know that every CFO whose door I knock on lives in St. Louis, has been in their role for 10 years, is at a manufacturing company with 500 or more employees, and went to the University of Missouri. Like, you can build these perfect little niche lists with LinkedIn and Sales Navigator, and spend your time kind of custom messaging these folks. So the idea of door knocking and just talking to them one-on-one what I see move the needle, both for me and for clients, in terms of engagement, interest, attention, all those good things. Now the key piece, and what I'll wrap up with is, well, what do you say in a one-on-one message, right? Because there's so many messages, and everyone I talk to on LinkedIn is just getting inundated and bombarded with spammy, salesy, pushy one-on-one messages. And of course it doesn't work, right? It's just like, you don't like getting robocalls or telemarketing calls, so why would you go hire a telemarketing firm for your business? You wouldn't. Just like you hate getting spammy LinkedIn messages in your inbox that are asking you for something like your time or, a sales call or a demo, you hate getting those, so don't send those types of messages. What I find works really well on LinkedIn with one-on-one messages is a couple of key factors. One is it has to be super short and concise and just cut to the chase. Meaning your one-on-one LinkedIn message, in-mail, group message, should literally be one sentence. One, maybe 2 sentences long. That's it. No more long kind of email style, no more paragraphs. People just don't read it. They won't go through it. They won't engage. They won't reply. So literally 1 sentence, maybe 2 sentences. The second component of these one-on-one messages is make it permission-based. Don't assume this person wants anything to do with whatever you're offering, even if it's free content or whatever. So obviously don't ask for time, don't ask for a call, don't ask for a demo. Don't even assume they want your free ebook or material or whatever. Like, ask permission. So a simple message might be, for me, when I'm prospecting, if let's say I wanted to target the CFOs in St. Louis, Missouri in manufacturing, I could create a blog post or an ebook or a training video that, I would title how Missouri-based CFOs can increase cash flow by 5x in 60 days or less, like whatever it is, right? Some benefit that they want that's niche to them. I would then message all these CFOs in Missouri and say, hey, insert name of CFO, would it be helpful for me to send you a free copy of a new ebook I published, how St. Louis-based CFOs can do whatever, right? So you basically just say, hey, insert name, would you be interested in a free copy, or should I send you a free PDF of my new ebook, LinkedIn Lead Generation for Business Coaches, right? So if I was targeting business coaches, I could reach out to each business coach with a 1-sentence message. Hey, insert name of business coach, would you be interested in a free copy of my new ebook, LinkedIn Lead Generation for Business Coaches, or client retention secrets for business coaches, or how business coaches can add more clients, right? It would be some sort of content that is promising a benefit they want or solves a problem they have. And you're basically offering that, asking permission. Don't include the ebook. And it can be an ebook, it can be a webinar, it can be a training video, it can be a blog post. What I find works best is ebooks, and that's another podcast for another time. But anyway, 1-sentence offering a free piece of content niched for them. Or you can just say, hey, insert name of person, I help people just like you get this benefit. Is that an area of need for you right now? That's all you say. So, hey, Sally Jones, so I'll give you an example for a business coach. Hey, Sally, I help business coaches generate more clients using LinkedIn. Is that an area of need for you right now? ? There it is. 2 quick sentences, and then let them reply, let them talk to you. Because they might say, no, I'm good, I'm retired, or no, I actually have enough referrals, or yes, actually, I am thinking I do need clients. What do you have in mind? And then you can pivot and get into a conversation. The other real benefit with this, because you're asking permission to either give them a free piece of content that promises to solve a key problem for them or bring them value, or you're just asking, hey, do you have a need right now? I paint houses. Is that an area of need for you right now? Yes, our house is dilapidated. I need a painter. Very simple questions. Like, you'd knock on a door like, hey, I mow lawns. Is that something you guys need, or are you covered? Right? Oh yeah, we got a lawnmower guy. We're good. Or no, actually, my kid just went to college. I'm looking for a lawn service. Let's talk, right? So that's the idea. And if you're doing it at scale to 200-300 people a day, you're going to get quick responses because, again, you're only sending 1 sentence, 1 question, maybe 2 sentences, and people can have control of the conversation because you're asking permission. You're not, assuming they want to talk to you. And so what you do is you basically do that at scale. And then when people engage and when they respond, now you can personalize. And this is where the secret sauce comes in, the Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People that I've built my whole business on is Again, you can't hyper personalize 200 to 300 messages a day. Now, for the 5, 6, 7 people that respond to you and say, yeah, I'd be interested in your free tips, or yeah, that is an area of need. Now it's worth your time in your LinkedIn inbox. For those 5, 6, 7, 10 people that reply yes, go look at their LinkedIn profile. Look at where they live, where they went to school, what their hobbies are, volunteering, where they've worked. Not only can you follow up and deliver the ebook that you offered, or whatever tips or value, or whatever it might be, you can personalize your follow-up and say, hey, I'm so glad you're interested in the ebook. I've attached it as a PDF. By the way, I see you live in St. Louis. Are you excited for the Cardinals baseball team? How are they looking this season? Or whatever it is that you would use as an icebreaker based on where the person lives, where they work. Or, hey, I see you went to such and such college. Do you keep up with the sports teams? Or, congratulations, I see you just won an award for whatever. Because if you personalize your LinkedIn messages like that and take things off their profile and drop them in, that is different than 99% of what's in their inbox, right? Nobody's personalizing LinkedIn messages. Now, I'm not advocating that you have to do it at scale. Only once people have said, yes, they're interested in the topic. Like, yes, I'm interested in your topic. Yes, I want your free material. Now it behooves you to not only deliver that topic, but personalize your follow-up by simply looking at their profile, looking for 2, 3, 4 icebreakers based off that information and sprinkling that in. Hey, I see you live in Chicago. I've always wanted to visit. What do you recommend for somebody with 3 little kids? Like, what's the best game plan? And people love to talk about that because guess what? Our favorite topic in the world is ourselves, right? So Dale Carnegie, the quote I live by that I have printed and laminated all over my office is, people do not care about you. They do not care about me. They care about themselves, morning, noon, and after supper. So if you start asking people about their favorite topic on earth, which is themselves, where they live, where they work, what their hobbies are, volunteering, college they went to, they'll talk to you and talk to you and talk to you because it's their favorite topic. And it's not work related. It's not spammy. It's just conversation like you would have meeting someone at lunch or meeting someone for coffee. You just, I see you live in Chicago. How do you like it? How do you deal with the winters? Whatever it might be. And that's really the approach that works. So to kind of summarize this whole thing and bring it in for a landing, really understanding you don't have to do all the different features on LinkedIn. You don't have to try to crack the code on the algorithm and stay up to date on the best practices to get more people to like your posts, because I have not seen that move the needle. I've done this for hundreds and hundreds of clients, and I've done it for myself for well over a decade. And consistently what moves the needle is not all the content publishing. It's having one good piece of content like an ebook, a webinar, a video, a blog post that's really good, that helps people solve a key problem or pain point they have in their business. And it gets them to know, like, and trust you. So that's why I like an ebook, because you can tell your story. You can put photos of you in. You can share a little bit of your journey, your backstory, and then demonstrate some expertise. And I have a whole formula for that. I have a book actually called Content Marketing Made Easy. I'll put a link to that in the show notes. It's free, of how to create that great content. One great piece of content, client-facing profile, and then use those 5 different methods we talked about to reach out to 200 to 300 people a day. And then when they engage, when they say yes, when they reply, because you're just doing that short 1 to 2 sentence kind of question, offer, permission-based, when they reply, then deliver whatever you promised and personalize it. And what you're going to find is you're going to all of a sudden have a bunch of warm conversations, a bunch of engagement, and people are going to want to follow up and learn more and engage with you. So there you go. Hopefully that takes some stress off. Hopefully that brings some relief, because you don't need to be doing all these different things on LinkedIn to get results. Again, for leads and lead generation, the money is in the mailbox. So thanks so much for listening and watching. I hope you found this super helpful. If you need anything else, look in the show notes. I've got all kinds of links in there to free books and templates and everything else. So just grab those, get after it, and we'll see you soon on another episode.